Another great tool for retouching is the Liquify filter. Like with any retouching tool though, you want to be subtle. Now, one of the more common problems is with flyaway hair as well as clothing. So let's go ahead and fix that in this image. Now, in order to do this in a flexible way, I will turn the background into a smart object. You can use your context-sensitive menus to do this. So on the Mac, you would hold down the Control key and click. On Windows, we can right mouse click and then select Convert to Smart Object. Now that it's a smart object, when I select Filter and then choose Liquify, if I correct this and then decide that I don't like it, it's non-destructive, so I can always remove it. Now I'm going to select the top tool here. It's the Forward Warp tool. And you want to make sure when you're using Liquify that you use a large brush. Most people tend to choose a brush size that's too small. And then when they're trying to move things, it makes it very obvious. So I'm going to click Restore All in order to reset that. And I will choose a much larger brush size, say maybe around 130. Now you can see when I click and drag, I can make a much more subtle change. If I wanted to just push her hair in right in here, and at the same time, maybe just give her a little more hair up top, a little boost. Or if I wanted to bring these hairs right down a little bit on the top of his head, maybe bring this out a little, but bring this down here and here. Of course, I can also move over to the clothing here. Right here on her shoulder, we've got kind of this dent going in and then this one coming out. So let's just try to even that up a little bit. Again, I'm just making very small little changes here in order just to kind of even out the shape of the clothing there. We can also come back here, the back, and we'll just kind of lift that up a little bit. And I'm just moving it over to the left. So we can tell that the wind has really caught his shirt there. All right, now when I click OK, we can see the effects of that by toggling on or off the Liquify filter. So that was before, and that's after. You can see you can really use Liquify to just make nice, subtle changes to an image. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this second example. Again, I'm going to convert the background into a smart object using my context-sensitive menus. And then I'll select Filter and then Liquify. Now this time when I use Liquify, I'm going to need to be a little bit more careful because as I move some areas of the image, I'm not going to want to move others. So I need to enable this advanced mode because that's going to give me another tool on my toolbar, and that's the Freeze tool. This tool is going to work like a mask so I can paint in areas that I don't want to move. For example, I don't want to distort her fingers, so I'm going to click there. And then I'm going to come along the bottom area here, this part of her pants, and I'm going to freeze this. And I'm also going to freeze her fingers on the left side and freeze part of her arm here. And then I'm going to switch to our Forward Warp tool. I'll get a little bit larger of a brush just by tapping the right bracket key. And I'm just going to click up and drag just right here underneath the arm a little bit. And then here along the side, I'm just going to tuck this in a bit. Again, you want to make sure that you're using a large brush so that you can't see what's changed and what's not. Here you can see how the wrinkles of her shirt are going up. So I'm going to get even a larger brush here, and I'm going to click and start dragging them down a little bit. And I'm also going to want to zoom in, so I'll use Command plus, Control plus on Windows, and then hold down the space bar so we can navigate. And you'll notice that as I pull her shirt down, that her pants below it are not moving. And that's because I've used that Freeze tool. We'll just do that a little bit more. Now, here the wrinkle here in her shirt has moved down a little bit too much. So let's just pull that back up here. And we might just want to pull this in a little bit from the left. And I'm going to use a little bit larger brush and just pull these wrinkles down a little bit here in front as well. All right, if I wanted to unfreeze an area, we have a Thaw tool. So I can go ahead and unfreeze this and just see how that looks, because sometimes it's hard to see with a red overlay. And I might select my Forward Warp tool again, making sure that I have a large brush, not covering the finger area. I might just want to get this line a little straighter right along there. All right, we'll click OK. And then we can take a quick before and after, toggling on and off the eye icon next to Liquify. So there's before and there's after. Now I see that I've pulled up a little bit too far in the foreground here, so that's the nice thing about having this Liquify be a smart filter, because if I need to make changes to it, I simply double click where it says Liquify, and then I'll make sure by getting a little bit smaller of a brush, just want to make sure that I'm not pulling any of that area up too high. Of course, if I don't want to change it, I could always just crop out that area, but I think that's better. We'll just do before and after. So there you go, 2 handy uses of Liquify.